We're at Foxhollow Farm, which is in Crestwood, Kentucky, about 20 miles north of Louisville and about 60 miles from Cincinnati. And it is my family's farm. I'm a fourth generation steward of Foxhollow Farm. We raise grass-fed beef, organic vegetables, and we're a biodynamic farm community. Regenerative farming is farming for future generations, making sure you're building the soil for future generations. And it means a lot to me because when we came here, there was hardly any topsoil, and the soil was very depleted. And it wasn't like I was thinking, oh, why didn't you think of me, Grandma? It was more, wow, I could really build something so then when my kids come to be farming on this land, then they will be starting way up here. And so they're going to be able to build whatever sort of business they want, whatever sort of life they want around really healthy soil. And so regenerative farming inspires me to farm for future generations. I come from a background of women who had a deep connection to the land, specifically more through the woods and visiting pastures and lands, not specifically farming. But they gave me that gift of caring for nature. My mother took me out to this farm every weekend growing up. We'd be in the woods playing in the creek. And that early connection to the tranquility of the woods and the land is what kept me interested in preserving the land. And so my mom was gracious enough to have the idea to turn this into a biodynamic farm community, but also to trust that I could lead the charge, that I could take the ideas that she had and then put them into action with younger entrepreneurial farmers. So being a woman in agriculture definitely has its challenges. My first Kentucky Cattlemen's Association meeting was an eye-opener. I was definitely shocked by the fact that there were hardly any women in the room and that you really had to gain respect to be there. And that was early on when I didn't know much. And now I'm plenty confident to walk into one of those meetings or one of those rooms and know what I'm talking about. But it was scary at first and it was intimidating. And actually my first mentor in that area is our head cattleman. He is generous with knowledge and more than willing to explain it to me in a way that doesn't dumb it down or he knows I didn't come from a farming background, but he respects the fact that I care and that I want to know. And so he was my first mentor in getting me up to speed on cattle, on grasses, on conventional ways of raising cattle, because I'm not going to experience that hands-on, but I need to have that knowledge to know where is everyone else coming from and where are we starting from. And then also, why is grass-fed beef better? And how can we share that knowledge with other farmers in a way that doesn't degrade what they're doing, but it just says, hey, look, this is how we've decided to farm our cattle, and this is how it's working. Do you want to join? And him teaching me to have that conversation with other cattlemen was very helpful. Being a woman in ag, surrounded by men, it's encouraging to see that you can keep up and you are strong and you have really good ideas. I feel like I've been able to come to agriculture in a whole nother lens by not having the background of growing up on a farm, and then also by not feeling held back or intimidated by the fact that sometimes I am the only woman in the room. And so to be a woman in ag and to have other women that have been women in ag for many generations is so helpful, because there are times where you do get frustrated and there's times where I feel like I'm holding it all up and sometimes I can't hold it anymore and I need to talk to someone about it. But my advice would be, give yourself a couple years of failure or whatever that is, of trial and error, and give yourself grace every year because you're going to need it.